My peoples, my peoples, my peoples. Mis piojos, mis piojos. Test, test, test. Perfect. Bear with me here a few seconds, guys. You guys already know I just got back home from Miami. It was my birthday weekend, so I didn't bring my setup or anything. Give me 1 second. I'm just posting the links on social medias real quick. Is that really my password for this? Is crazy. I gotta change that so quick. I'm sorry, team. Give me 1 second. Let me do this real quick. All right, we'll do this later. Not that important. We'll give everybody another, what time is it? 19:20. We'll give everybody another 2 minutes to join. We'll start at the 22-minute mark. Hope everyone had a great weekend. My bad, guys. I'm my bad. Yep. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Again, I didn't have my setup over there in Miami, so I'm sorry for no weekly market breakdown this week. But that's all right. That means that I need to update my charts from the top to the bottom, from the daily, the 4 hour, and the 30 minutes. So we'll take some time and we'll do that today. Um, Even though I didn't have my setup, obviously, we could trade off our phones and stuff. I was looking at charts on my phone. Today's Monday. My bad. For some reason I thought today was Tuesday. Last night I was looking at the charts. I was looking at AU. Was looking for a potential entry. I love where we're at right now. I love the fact that price gave us that inducement off the high. Um, we got the inducement of the 4 hour high as well. Just no valid breaks. Just the inducement off the high, right? Once we got the inducements, I was looking for those downtrend pushes to continue into the week, right? So for Thursday, Friday, price gave us 2 days of drop. Was looking for that third day, right? But again, new week started, market opened, gave us a gap in the market. Gaps in the market reset the trend, and I was just looking for the pullbacks, right? My first point of interest that I wanted to see price give us the pullback to then continue was the 50 EMA, right? We are in level 3. Level 3, we're looking for price bounce off the 50. Once price reached the 50, I went down into the lower time frames, was looking for price to start giving us lower lows and lower highs, right? And at this point, price was giving us lower low, lower high, lower low, gave us a little change of character. On the 1 minute time frame, it gave us a change of character to the bottom side. It never gave us a valid break, so it never gave me the entry, right? Then price came up, gave us another inducement of the high. Again, lower time frame. If you go down into the 1 minute, we were seeing price looking that it was going to turn around, but it didn't. All it gave was that change of character, the same thing that it did here, and it continued to push to the top side. So we had no valid entries. And that's okay. Price continued the uptrend push. Price didn't give us what we wanted to see for the entry, and price just continued that push to the top side. So that was what I was looking for all of today, pretty much all morning. On the daily time frame, once again on AU, we know that we are at the top of the second zone of consolidation on a downtrend, looking for that third and final push back down to the bottom to reach our previous peak lows, right? The top of the zone of consolidation, once again, this is what we would call our safety trade. This is our point of interest to start looking for trades to go back down to the bottom. Just because price is at our point of interest, does that mean I'm looking to get into a trade right now, right away? No. Exactly what we just went over onto the lower time frames. Before we look for price, or before we look for our entries, we want to see price turn around. We want to start seeing price make lower lows and lower highs before we take a trade. I'm going to keep the 4 hour time frame just like this for now. I'm not going to update this. I'm not going to say that this is higher high, higher low, higher high, because price still hasn't given me that valid break of the highs just yet. So I'm going to be patient with this before I mark it up. We have another week where price finished on a no net. Price opened exactly where price closed, right? Last week price open is exactly where this week's price open is. So it's a no net. And I'm sorry, I have the sniffles, man. I don't know if I'm getting sick, but I got the sniffles. We'll just keep it at that. So I'm sorry if it's a little annoying on the stream. So no continuations on the 4 hour. Again, we're still making higher highs and higher lows. We want to be patient just for a little bit longer. And on the 30-minute time frame, price gave us higher high, higher low, higher high, then gave us a change of character down to the bottom over here. We'll mark this up, 30-minute change of character, change this to red so we know it's a downtrend. Then price gave us lower low, lower high, lower low. Right. The week finished at the bottom at the lower low. Week opened with the gap in the market. Again, gaps in the market reset the trend. What happened? Instead of giving us, and we'll mark this up as well, instead of giving us that 372, that third push to the bottom, price decided to go back up. And what did price give us? It gave us a change of character, higher high to the top side. And at this moment, I'm going to keep it like this for now. I'm going to say that this is still part of the same trend instead of saying that this is higher high, higher low, higher high inducement, right? We don't have a valid break. Well, yes, we do. We do have a valid break of these highs now. But I'm going to keep it like this for now. Tomorrow morning, once we get back on the charts, we'll see how price is moving. Once we have a little bit more data on this chart, we will update it and we'll see what happens. We had 2 days of rise. On the third day, price gave us a third day rise. After 3 days of rise, the market must move sideways or go down. And we went down, gave us 2 days of drop. Once again, on the third day, price opened with a gap, which was today's market open for the week. Gap in the market resets the trend, went up instead and gave us a day of rise. So we'll be patient with AU, but we should be keeping a very close eye on AU for these next upcoming days. Daily time frame on EA. We had the double bottom, push one to the top side, first zone of consolidation, push number 2, second zone of consolidation, push number 3 to the top side. Now, what we were saying pretty much all of last week and the week before, I still want to see price on EA go up just a little bit higher. Is it something I'm expecting for price to do? No. Is it something that I wanted to do? Yes. For EA as well, the reason I'm still looking at this that way for right now, when we're looking at market structure on the higher time frame, we are still trading higher high, higher low, all the way to the top side, higher high. So technically speaking, right now, we are still on an uptrend. Price right now is still at a higher low. So I'm not going to change this just yet. You can see that I already started marking it up this way with the highlight, right? Could we say that this is the 3 pushes to the top side and this is the first push to the bottom, first zone of consolidation, and this is the second push to the bottom going into the downtrend? We could say that. However, understanding the rules and understanding how the market makers pattern is supposed to look doesn't look that clean, right? Where the first zone of consolidation is, where the first push is at, what we're looking for in peak high territory, right? In peak high territory or peak low territory, you're going to have a variation of we could say patterns. You're going to have variation of patterns in peak high or peak low, right? What could happen in peak high, for an example? In peak high, you could have a double top, right? Which is the M formation, which again, in market structure, the M formation is a downtrend. In peak high, you could have a zone of consolidation or a range, which is again, price just moving sideways. Something else that could happen in peak high is price giving you a shoulder head shoulder pattern to then look for price to go back down to the bottom. Do we have any of that here in peak high? No, we don't. We don't have a double bottom or a double top. We don't have a zone of consolidation. We don't have a shoulder head shoulder. We literally just had price continue the trend. It gave us a clean push to the top side, higher high, and price then went down and gave us the higher low. Oh, but we have a zone of consolidation here. Yes, correct. But this is after peak high was set. This wasn't at peak high. Peak high is over here. This is the highest point in the market. Right? Now, the question should be, why do we have a zone of consolidation here? It's very simple. The market could only do 2 things. Right? Price, the way the market moves, it could only do 2 things. Either consolidate, which again is sideways movement, or it could give you a trend. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And this is all that this is. This zone of consolidation was just made to confuse traders because again, and I ask this in every single stream, what is the definition of a zone of consolidation? not the characteristics of a zone of consolidation. We know the characteristics of a zone of consolidation, right? The characteristics of a zone of consolidation is sideways movement, when price is moving sideways. But why is price moving sideways? What's the definition of sideways movement? Right? The definition of a zone of consolidation, the definition of a range, the definition of a consolidation is when the market makers are trapping traders to trap traders to get into a trade, to induce traders to get into a trade, to hit their stop losses. Right? And this was all that this was here. Is just the market makers trapping traders, inducing the lows, inducing the highs, rejecting the highs, going back down to the bottom, rejecting the lows, inducing the lows, going back to the top side. Until when? Until price gave you a break of structure. And as soon as price gave you that break of structure, what happened? Lower low, lower high, 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 lower low, to where we're at right now. The trend started happening. So now we understand, okay, cool. Right now, as of right now, March 16th, on the daily time frame, this could still be a higher low point. I'm not going to change up my markup. I'm not going to start saying that this is a downtrend push, right? Or that we're in an overall downtrend until price gives us that break of structure. Once price gives us the break of this low and the trend switches from an uptrend to a downtrend, meaning whenever price goes higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, once we make that lower low, lower high, lower low, that's when I'm going to start looking for those trades back down to the bottom. That's when I'm going to start looking for those short positions. So as of right now, it's okay. The point of interest where I was another point of interest, because we have multiple points of interest as to where a higher low could be set. This is another question you have to ask yourself as a trader, right? How far is the pullback going to be? You don't really know. This is something as a trader you have to understand. We could have multiple points of interest as to where a higher low is going to be set. And this is why there's so many strategies in the market. And this is why I always say this. It's okay to know more than one strategy, because you are going to need to understand different strategies in the market to then look for your entry models when they are on the chart, when they're being presented to you, right? And again, we could use the most used model in the market, right, in trading in general, which is the Fibonacci tool. This is why you see a lot of traders use the fib, because the fib tells you a lot of things, and depending on how you use the fib also depends on what models you're looking for, etc., etc., right? This is why you see a lot of traders, oh, the pullback between 23.6 and 38.2, and you have some other traders entry model, oh, it's the 50% fib retracement, which is the what they would call the golden ratio zone, right? And then you have the other traders who trade between the 77 and the 86, which is the discount and premium price, right? That's all that I'm looking at. I'm looking at what is the highest probable area where price could give you that pullback, right? And we had a lot of points of interest. Here on the market on the left-hand side, we had this as a point of interest. Why? Because there was a gap in the market, right? Once price came down and filled that gap, we were looking for, is price going to continue to make lower lows and lower highs? Or is price going to now turn around and start making higher highs and higher lows? Right? Another point of interest that we had before the gap, we had the 800 EMA. What do we know about the 800 EMA? The 800 EMA, price tends to respect the 800 EMA. Same thing. When price reached the 800 EMA, did price start making higher highs and higher lows? No, it continued the downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low. So cool. We wait for the next point of interest. My next point of interest was the last higher low point before the break of structure happened, right? The break of structure happened here. The last higher low point before the break was down here. Same thing. When price reached the point of interest, didn't even give an opportunity. It just completely went down and went lower low, lower high, all the way down, lower low. So cool. My next points of interest are going to be the daily lows, which are the gray boxes. Everything is color coordinated on the stream, on the chart. The daily highs and low are gray, the 4-hour highs and lows are blue, the 30-minute highs and lows are red. right? So once price reaches my daily lows, there's only two things that could happen. Either price is going to give us the inducement of the low, start making higher highs and higher lows, and we start looking for those trades back to the top side, or price is going to give us the break of structure and continue lower lows and lower highs the same way we've been doing this. Now, once price reaches these lows, if we get that change of character and price starts that downtrend and we start making lower lows and lower highs and we get the break of structure, we know we could start looking for those trades back down to the bottom, and we could flip this chart, right? EA, we could now say that we've completed the uptrend push, right? Level 1, level 2, level 3, and we're now continuing the downtrend push down to the bottom. So we just got to be patient with EA. EA right now, there's really not a lot to talk about. Right now, we just have to keep a very close eye on it. Wait for price to turn around, or wait for price to give us the break of structures before we could start taking these trades. And again, for the ones watching the recording, any questions, let me know. For the ones who are going to be present in the live stream, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat. Um, Once again, I haven't looked at my chart since last week, since I was away this weekend for my birthday. Um, so we're gonna take a little bit of time today, and we'll update everything that we need to update. We had a week of drop last week, gave us a second week of drop. Right? Could we be looking for that 372 on the weekly? Could happen. Where are we on the 4 hour? We had higher high, higher low, higher high. Change of character, and the price just continued all the way to the bottom still. So we're still trading between the same high and waiting to see where these lows are going to be set, which finally looks like price wants to give us a set low down here. Minute time frame, yo, these people are bugging, man. Give me a second. Stupid, bro. 30-minute time frame. Where were we on this? We only have one box for. I haven't seen this chart in so long. It feels like so long. It's only been a couple days. Low, 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 low. 30-minute time frame. I would want to say lower low, lower high. Right. This isn't a significant pullback, so I'm not gonna say I found the box. There you go. Yeah, this isn't a significant pullback. Price just continued the downtrend all the way down to the bottom. So we have a pretty big 30-minute zone here on EA, which is fine, right? This gives us a little bit of time and a lot of space for price to do what it needs to do. We have another day of drop, then we have a day of rise. We have a second day of rise, and then on the third day, price gave us that third day high with the wick, then went down, but we have a gap in the market, so I'm not going to mark this as a rise drop. We had a gap in the opening of the week. Again, gaps in the market, reset the trend, and price came back down to the bottom. For ECAD, daily time frame, we are in peak high territory, right? We had the downtrend, push 1, push 2, push 3. It went from a downtrend up to an uptrend. Push 1, first zone consolidation, push 2, second zone consolidation, push 3 into the previous peak high. Perfect. Now what am I looking for? I'm looking for the change of character, and then I'm looking for the break of structure to confirm that we are now on the overall downtrend on ECAD. Daily time frame, we had higher high, higher low, higher high. Then price went down and gave us that change of character down to the bottom, lower low. Perfect. Right, we still have this gap at the top of the market. All we have is a change of character. We do not have a valid break. So I cannot say that we are starting the overall downtrend push just yet. After the change of character, Price gives us a lower low, lower high. After the change of character, I want to see price give me another lower low point, right? The break of structure, to then start looking for those short positions. Right now, a change of character could just be the inducement. Now on the lower time frame, what am I going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for price to start making higher highs and higher lows, to start to continue to look for those buy positions back to the top side, to look for price to fill this gap that's at the top of the market. We had a week of drop, and then price gave us a week of no net. Price just moved sideways last week. Perfect, no problem. We had a gap. Price filled that gap up. Don't need to update anything more on the 4-hour time frame. And then on the 30-minute, we had lower low, lower high, lower low. And then price was just moving sideways for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We've just been moving sideways. So we're trading between the same low and the same high as last week, where price is rejecting the lows, going high, rejecting the lows. Looks like price is going to go back to the top side. We had a day of drop, 2 days of drop, 3 days of drop. Perfect. After 3 days of drop, the market must move sideways or go up. What did the price do? Price went down. Why? We had a gap in the market. We had a gap in the market on the 4th day as well, but then price went back to the top side. All right, we had 4 days of drop. Then price gave us a day of rise. Let me go back into the higher time frames. We have any engulfing candles? We had an engulfing candle here on the 4-hour time frame. Right after price came back to the lows and gave us a rejection, went up, lower time frames, gave us this 4-hour engulfing candle. Right, and this is going to show you guys how do I approach the charts once we have all of these confirmations. Right, this would have been a very good entry. We're in peak high. We know we're looking for price to bounce off the 50 EMA, 30-minute time frame. Again, we had the inducement of the low. If you go down to the lower time frame, you'll see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Price gave you the change of character, higher high, and it didn't give you the break. So this is a good. Inferno asked me a question last week about this, so I'm gonna write this timestamp down, 2729. Right. Is there times where I'll be entering a trade only off a change of character? Yes, but I need to see other confirmations before that. Right, and this is one of those. We had the inducement of the low. Price came back to the lows, started making the uptrend push. After the inducement of the low, after we saw the push to the top side, price gave us a 4-hour engulfing candle. On the 30-minute time frame, or because we're on the 30-minute time frame, we'll say the 30-minute time frame, but we know that in peak high, which is also level 3, we want to see price bounce off the 50 EMA. Price gave us the bounce off the 50. We have the retest of the 4-hour engulfing. This is a beautiful trade, right? And I don't know if 58 pips is still STP, but for conversation's sake, let's say that not a good conversation's sake. 99 minus 33%. 99 minus 33% is 66 pips. Right? Damn, this was a trade for today too. I wish I was on my charts like that. Damn, nah. So just based off of STP alone for today, I wouldn't have taken this trade because STP's already hit for the day. 66 pips. Right? If we're taking away STP and taking away ADR and we're just looking at the other rules aside from that, this would have been a beautiful trade to continue that push to the top side. But again, once STP or ADR is hit for me, I'm no longer looking at the chart, so really nothing to trade here. But the rules again, and specifically for Inferno, since this was a question you had for me, is there... Yo, my Apple Watch just started singing boom 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 bing 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 boom, whatever song that is. First time I've ever heard that. Bedtime reminder, your bedtime is set for 8:30. What time is it? We gotta hurry this up, man. Damn, you know what's crazy? I left my charger at the house. I gotta go back to Miami, yo. Yo, Kendall, can you go for me, please? Oh, bro, I better not be getting sick, man. Fuck. Ugh. Yo, yo, my people's over there are fucking stupid, dude. That's hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. All right, EU, we're in an overall uptrend. We have push number one to the top side, first zone of consolidation. Push number two, once again with EU, and this is what we wanted to see. Am I going to say that this is now the second zone of consolidation instead of it all being just part of the second push to the top side, the trend? Yes. Why? At one point, right before this week, price was still giving us higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Until when? Until now. Instead of price continuing higher high, higher low, it came down and it gave us that change of character to the bottom side, right? This is where now I'm going to delete the highlighter and I'm going to mark this as a zone of consolidation. And we are going to say that we are currently in the second zone of consolidation on an uptrend. Second zone of consolidation is V2, right? We are in V2 on an uptrend. This is the daily time frame. Let me add a few lines here for us. We have a month of no net on the 4-hour time or daily time frame. Sorry, we had higher high, higher low, higher high. Once again, this was just an inducement, so I'm not gonna mark this up as higher high, higher low, higher high just yet. Until price goes down to these lows. 4-hour time frame. We have higher high, higher low, higher high. Then price gave us a 4-hour change of character, which is okay. This could be the inducement that we're looking for. To then start looking for those uptrend pushes on EU back to the top side. And we are now trading between this 4-hour high and these 4-hour lows down here. I don't really like how these candles printed down here, but that's okay. We have a week of drop counter trend. We still have that gap at the top of the market. We have a second week of drop. Perfect, no problem. What do we know about EU? What do we see? We have a gap on the first week. We have a gap on the second week. We have a gap on the third week. Gaps in the market reset the trend. So a third week push to the bottom for price to continue to make lower lows and lower highs. It's not something I'm expecting. 30-minute time frame. We had lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high. Then we have a change of character back down to the bottom, lower low. Then price gave us lower low, lower high, lower low, opens with a gap. Gaps in the market, once again, reset the trend. Lower low, higher high, change of character. And we are now trading between these lows and these highs. You already know what the next thing is, yo. Once we get that break of structure, we're in there like swimwear. We have 2 days of drop, 3 days of drop, 4 days of drop, and we have 1 day of rise. Perfect. EU is another one on my watch list. Damn, I should be writing this down for the watch list. Give me 1 second. Yo, again, guys, sorry for the sniffles, man. I swear, I promise that I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm not crying. I promise. I'm not crying. Oh, I'm on do not disturb on my phone. That's not good. You know what I should do? I'll do it after the stream. Well, I'll do it after we finish with these. Oh, my phone or my watch. Yo, I've only walked 4,000 steps today. It's all right. I was driving for 4 hours. GA, we are level 1, level 2, level 3. We reached the previous peak highs. Looks very similar to EA, I believe it was, right? Peak high, what did it give us? Didn't really give us a double top. Zone of consolidation is iffy, right? Because it's not at peak high, but it's right there. It looks very similar to EA. With GA, we also have the higher high, higher low, higher high. We have the daily time frame change of character. We do not have a break of structure just yet. So I'm not going to mark this as this could be a potential level 2 to the downtrend. I'm not going to say that we are starting the downtrend just yet. I'm going to wait for price to give me the valid break of structure to then start looking for those short positions. But everything is looking good for now. We have 2 months to drop. This month being the third month. Price is continuing that downtrend push. Perfect. On the 4-hour time frame, I have to sneeze too, man. Damn, this is real bad. Add a few lines. We had 2 weeks that price was just moving sideways. Finally started giving us a trend. Gave us a week of drop. I'm not gonna mark this as lower low, lower high on the 4-hour time frames. This is all part of the same trend still. And then on the 30-minute, we had low, lower high, lower low, higher high change of character, higher low, higher high inducement. Did not give us the break. Then it went down and gave us a change of character back down to the bottom here. Then price gave us, I don't want to mark this as lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. And I'm not going to mark it that way. This is all part of the same trends. And we are still trading between these highs up here and these lows over here. And then we have 2 days of drop. Price gave us the third day drop. After 3 days of drop, the market must move sideways or go up. And we went up. We have a day of rise. 2 days of rise. The market opened with a gap in the gap at the start of the week. Gaps in the market reset the trend. We went back down to the bottom and gave us a day of drop. Nothing to look at for GA. GCAT, I already know. I'm not looking at anything here. Why? Just on the 30-minute time frame. You know, I don't know. Yo, Kendall, you here? Let me know before I ask the question in the chat. I just want to make sure somebody's here that's going to answer the question. I'll give you 30 seconds. 20. I'll give you 15 seconds. If you're here in the chat, let me know. Yo, do I still got Theraflu left? Thank God. I already know you. I'm gonna sleep like a fucking king tonight, man. Oh my God. I'm on sleep deprivation for the. I don't know why every time I go to Miami I can't sleep. And I'm gonna drink Theraflu, and I'm gonna be sleeping on my comfortable ass mattress. Oh man. Yo, it's gonna be very difficult. I'm letting you guys know this right now. It's gonna be very difficult for me to wake up tomorrow morning. I'm just letting you guys know in advance. Yo, I'm still gonna wake up, but I'm gonna turn the stream on, and you guys are gonna hear me like a fucking zombie. Yo, Kendall's not here. All right. So, just looking at this on the 30-minute time frame, right? And this is why I have my charts the way that I have them. Everything is labeled the way I need to label them. Everything I need to know is on the 30-minute time frame, right? We know that we're in an overall uptrend. We know we're in level 3 on an overall uptrend. What are we doing on the 30-minute time frame? Right now, price is just moving sideways, right? Just looking at this little piece for the last 5 days. What is price doing? Just moving sideways. Before the sideways movement happened, what did we have? Lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character. We've been saying this all stream. What do we want to see after the change of character? Before we start looking for our entries, we need to see the valid break of structure. So I already know GCAD. I just gotta, I'm obviously gonna update it on the other time frames because we haven't done that just yet. But I already know GCAD is not a pair that I'm gonna trade. I already know we have to be patient. We have to wait for those valid breaks. Once we get that break, that's when I'm gonna start looking to take the trade. It's that simple, guys. It really is. Once you already have all the information on your charts, once you can see everything that you need to see, trading gets very, very simple. We had 3 weeks of drop. After 3 weeks of drop, what must the market do? Move sideways or go up? What did the price do? It moved sideways. It's just simple, right? The market has rules that it has to follow. It's whether or not you, the trader, knows the rules. If you don't know the rules, it's going to be very difficult. On the daily time frame, we also have an engulfing candle, and price is retesting that engulfing candle right now. But again, is this an area where I want to take that trade? No. I already know that that trade is low probability. Could it work? Yeah. And right now on the 30-minute time frame, we have the 50 crossing above the 200. Everything looks picture perfect besides the break of structure. But again, without my rules, this trade goes from being an A plus setup to right now this is a C plus. And yeah, C's get degrees. You could get paid off of C's, and yeah, you could still have, you could make payouts with a 60%, 70% win rate. That's not the type of trader that I am. When I take a trade, I want to make sure it's 100%. I don't like to lose. That's just in my blood. Once again, from my background and everything that I've done, I don't like to lose. I want to make sure that when I'm trading, I'm not at a casino. I'm not taking a 50% chance. I'm not taking a 40% chance. I'm not taking a 60% chance. If I'm not taking anything above an 85%, I'm not taking it. If my entry is not above an 85% probability that it's going to go my way, I'm not going to take it. And that's the only thing that's missing on GCAD is for price to give us that valid break above the highs. It's the only thing that's missing. So we'll see again. We'll come back to this tomorrow morning and we'll explain this all over again. Trading is very simple. It is very simple. But again, you have to know the rules. And this isn't something you're gonna start doing today and oh, I'm a millionaire tomorrow, like all these internet gurus and marketing gurus, and they're geniuses at marketing, but when it comes to their trading, there's a reason why they win money today, and then they lose tomorrow, and then they win the next day, and then they lose more the next day. Then they go on a losing streak and they lose some more and then win some. But they're good at marketing, right? They're buying Lambos and posting it online, and people are buying their courses and using their affiliate links and etc. etc. Right? I'm not here to talk shit about other people, but we already know the deal. We already know how this works. It sucks that we've come to this, but you know, they're using it to their advantage, man. For many, 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 many years, for many decades, people have gone online and they've pushed the stigma that trading is just a fancy way to gamble, and unfortunately, that's just not the case. Um, but everybody's gonna have their own opinions about everything, so everybody has an opinion, but you go and you start asking these people like, "Oh, well, what do you know about trading to have this opinion?" "Oh, nothing. I just saw it on Twitter." All right, but how am I gonna take advice from somebody who has no clue about what they're talking about? It just makes no sense. Like I'm gonna take medical advice from somebody who's has fucking knows nothing about medicine, nothing about the human anatomy. I'm gonna take advice from people who don't know No information. Makes a lot of sense, yo. It makes a lot of sense. I'm back. Too late, man. I asked you a question. You weren't even here. GJ, we're in peak high territory. As you guys, I'm just updating my chart. GJ is not a pair that I'm currently trading. We had a change of character back to the top side, higher high, and we're all the way to the top side. I'm not. GJ, we're already at the end of the list pretty much, right? So every pair after US 30 is just a pair that I look at during the live session. I don't really like the live trading session in the morning. These are pairs, right? GJ, US 30, gold, Bitcoin, oil, and silver at this point. These are trades, or these are pairs, I should say, that during the isolation session, I'm not really giving my opinion on for many reasons, right? But the main reason is those pairs specifically are in peak high or peak low territory. And you guys already know peak high, peak low, I'm not really trading them. But these are pairs that move a lot on a day to day basis. So if it gives us a nice opportunity, then we'll take it. But you guys already know these are pairs that I'm taking it easy on. What you asked me, calls and called. Um, No, it was just about GCAT. It was just a general question. Um, Pretty much as I went to the 30-minute time frame and it was just like, why am I not looking for a trade here? Dude, fuck. I hope I don't get sick, man. I was on a good run. But these last couple days been raining and no bullshit. I've just been walking in the rain and I didn't care. I'm like, I'm not gonna get sick. I'm a big boy. 25 now. That's not the case. I'm not a big boy. I'm still gonna get sick. But that's pretty much it, guys. Again, these last couple pairs. Again, I'm gonna just update him, like I said. So I am gonna stay here for the next couple minutes to update the pairs, but I'm not going to give my opinion on them until tomorrow morning once we see them in the live trading session. Price gave us the beautiful break that we wanted to see on the shoulder head shoulder after the inducement. Gave us the break and then just continued the downtrend push. Exactly what we wanted to see, man. Bless you. Thank you, my brother. Damn, I sneezed. My fucking left arm just went numb. That's how hard I sneezed. That's crazy. After I'm done here, man, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna take that Theraflu, and I'm gonna go to bed. I'm not even gonna shower. Yo, fuck a shower. I'm gonna wash my face. I'm gonna change the clothes that I got on. And I didn't do nothing. I showered today. I came home straight, got in the car, but I went fishing before I did the session. That's the only thing. But I washed my hands. I don't smell like fish no more. It was raining too. I got rained on. Once again, that's probably why I'm sneezing because I'm a fucking idiot and I'm over here out in the rain, thinking that I'm 12 years old. 25 already, man. I can't be doing that. I gotta walk around with a fucking umbrella now. Like, dude, wear a poncho type shit. 3 days of drop, 3 days of drop. Market must move sideways or go up, and we went up again. The market's gonna do what it's got to do every single day, all the time, every single time. You believe it, Kendall? There was a time where you were like, "Yo, this guy's probably talking mad shit," and now that you've been with us for what, 2 years, you're like, "Damn, yo, this guy is fucking the truth." Shout out. 2 weeks of drop. Market gave us a third week push. Opened with a gap, reset the trend, and we finished on a no net. We have a change of character. So for us to say that we have went from an uptrend to a downtrend, I want to see that valid break. But on the daily, we are still making higher high and higher low. So we want to be patient with that. Be patient and be careful. US 30 could be a good fucking pair to look at too for this week. Damn, bro, I cannot wait for this week to keep going, man. We have a 30-minute engulfing candle as well. Oh man. Would love for price to, yo, you imagine we get this pullback? Yo, it's been so long that I haven't typed either. Fuck. Feels so foreign on my chart or on my setup. No, I know. I see the same shit you do. Bunch of bullshit. Yes, for at least for these charts, at least we could keep an eye on AU and EU. Those are pretty much the only two pairs that I wrote down here for the watch list. Um, so maybe for AU and EU, we got to be a little patient with them, but they look pretty decent. Golden peak high, still higher high, higher low. We had a weaker drop, a lot of zones of consolidation. We have a weaker drop and then a week of no nut. Price just moving sideways from last week. We're back at the lows of the zone of consolidation. And then we have a day of drop. We have a second day of drop. We have a third day of drop. And after 3 days of drop, the market must move sideways or go up. We move sideways. Again, the market's always gonna do exactly what it needs to do, but it's very fucking easy. It is that simple, yo. It is. It really is, I promise, guys. Bitcoin, day of rise, day of no net, um, day of rise, day of rise, day of rise. 4 hour time frame. Saturday at 7 p.m. Well, the fucking time changed. Time went an hour ahead, right? Or it went back. It went ahead, so it's 8 p.m. now. Saturday, 8 p.m. And then again on Bitcoin, we have a change of character, so nothing yet that tells us that we're in an overall downtrend just yet. This is going to be the area where we would want to start seeing price give us the inducements to continue. We have a daily time frame engulfing candle going long. Perfect. Man. Daily engulfing. US oil. 2 months of rise. This month being the third month. Gave us that third month push. We already know. We're in an overall downtrend for oil. I still have it as an overall downtrend for now. We have 3 weeks of rise. After 3 weeks of rise, the market must move sideways or go down. What do? We move sideways. Exactly what we're supposed to be doing, man. The market's always gonna, yo, it don't matter what world events are happening, yo. The market's always gonna do what it has to do. Always. Always, always, always. That's why I always say it, man. All these, I probably shouldn't say this on a live stream, but that's why I don't really give a fuck about what's going on worldwide. Not that I don't care, right? It's very sad and it sucks that it has to happen, but all of this shit is premeditated, man. All of it is. 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, what must the market do? Move sideways or go down, and we went down. Like this is there's no such thing as too much coincidences. Like it comes to a point where it's just the reality. Like everything you guys see on the internet, all this shit you guys see, especially when it comes to politicians and the government, unfortunately, all of this is premeditated, man. Ain't shit we could do to change anything that's going on. It's gonna happen, and it has to happen. It has to. Like, there's no other way around it. It has to happen. It's already written down, and whatever you guys believe in, man, it's written down and it's gonna happen. There's no changing it. Doesn't matter who's what and what's what. The events that unfold, they were gonna unfold regardless of the situation. And I truly do believe that. Doesn't matter who was elected, doesn't matter who was put, everything is gonna happen for a reason. It was gonna happen no matter what. I promise you that. We have a weaker drop. Price then gave us a no net, so no continuations on silver. And then 30-minute time frame. We're pretty much in a very big zone of consolidation where price gave us low, lower, high, lower, low, change of character, higher, high. Still trading between the same 30-minute high and 30-minute low, where price has just been trapping traders the entire time. We had 2 days of rise at the top of the zone of consolidation. Price gave the inducement, came down, gave us a day of drop, gave us 2 days of drop, gave us 3 days of drop. After 3 days of drop, the market must move sideways or go up. What did the market do? It went up. It's that simple. So that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. The only two pairs that are really on my watch list are going to be AU and EU. Outside of those two pairs, I'm not really interested in anything else. Um, Same with you and Miss Lady. Alright, bro, let's calm it down there, buckaroo. Um, AU and EU. So AU, at this point, at these highs, we'll be looking to see if price wants to give us the inducement of these highs, right? I'll be looking at this on the lower time frame. On the lower time frame, we're still trading higher high, higher low, higher high. So regardless, right on the 5-minute, I need to see price give us a break of these lows to continue. On the 1-minute time frame, 1-minute time frame is moving a little bit quicker and it's already moving, right? We had higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and we're back at these lows. So I'll be more looking at the 5-minute time frame than anything else on AU, and we'll be patient with that. And then EU, I would want to see price give us that valid BOS to the top side before taking a trade. We could take price once again at this point. We could still mark this. We could say we're in the second zone consolidation. We could say that we're at the bottom of the safety trade. We could say that this is pretty much level 3 on an uptrend. And we'll be looking for price to bounce off the 50 EMA. So at this point, once we have the break of structure, we'll also have the 50 and the 200 cross above each other, and that'll be the simplest trade we could take on EU. So we'll be patient with that. Any questions, let me know. Again, for the ones watching the recording, if you have any questions, let me know. Any questions, Kendall? I think you're the only one here on the live stream. So once I finish with this stream, I'm posting the I'll be posting the watch list on Discord, and now that's pretty much it. We'll be back tomorrow morning, and then we'll go on with our day tomorrow. What day is it today? The 16th. So this is the watch list for the 17th. 0317 watch list, and we're looking at EU, AU, and EU. So we could delete this, this, and this is AUD-USD, which we're looking for short. This is red. And then $96 pips is ADR. 96 pips is ADR. 96 minus 33% is 64. 64 pips is STP. And then for EURUSD, 90 pips is ADR. And then 90 minus 33% is 60. 60 is STP. And then go to forexfactory.com. And we have no news tomorrow. So, well, we have news. I'm lying. We have news at 11:30 p.m., which is AUD. So I'm gonna go down here. AUD news at 11:30 p.m. And then we have AUD news at 12:30 a.m. AUD 12:30 a.m. And then we have nothing else. That's it. Okay. And then I'm gonna go share, download, download. 03/17/2026 watch list. Oh my god, now I'm locked, man. But 100K months loading, man. Loading coming soon to a theater near you, my brother. All right, guys. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, great rest of your night. For the ones watching the recording, again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And we'll be back again tomorrow morning. Peace out.